Come and dream with me.
Welcome to What Do You Want to Watch, the Explosion Network's premier media podcast. Every week we get together, talk about movies, TV, and online content, help you answer the question, who could have guessed that a couple of plumbers would get everyone so riled up? I'm your host, Ashley Hobley. Join me today, Dylan Blatt.
Yo!
I think you gave that exact same noise.
I think I said something slightly different last week.
Not on the spoiler cast, it was, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
All right. Yeah, so on today's episode, we'll be discussing what's in our watch history, going over some news, giving some thumbs to trailers, and talking about this week's top three. But kick things off straight away, the biggest movie of the week, the Super Mario Brothers movie, animated by Illumination, starring Chris Pratt, Charlie Day, Jack Black, Anya Taylor-Joy, Keegan-Michael Key, Seth Rogen. The adaptation of the beloved Mario franchise, almost 30 years to the day since the 1993 adaptation, which we also do a spoiler cast for, and you should go listen to that as well. Dylan has a review up on the website. We've got a spoiler cast on this podcast feed. But Dylan, do you want to give your spoiler-free thoughts on the Super Mario Brothers movie?
Yeah, I think it's a perfectly okay sugar kids movie.
You son of a bitch.
It's got it's very colorful. It's got, it's definitely aimed at younger audiences, which is fine. Like, I have no problem with that. But I don't think it has any substance to it. I think the script is just whatever. It's a bunch of bits and jokes and callbacks written first, and then a through line written to get those to connect together. I don't think there's anything. Which is, yeah, again, I'm so sick of talking about the movie at this point.
It's been out less than a week, and you
yeah, and I'm sort of over it. But yeah, I don't think it's it's not a classic animated film. But if you just want, not to say everything has to be, but I also just don't even think it's something I'm in a rush to rewatch. I understand a lot of people love it if they obviously have their kids and they've got nostalgia and all this stuff. Cool. This movie, I'm really excited for the next Mario game, and this was a movie that came out. Cool, great stuff.
Wow,
5 out of 10. Read my review. I'm sort of it's been out a week and I feel like I am exhausted between talking about it and just like Twitter. I feel like I'm sort of just exhausted now.
Yeah. I enjoyed it a bit more than Dylan. I think I think it's a fun movie. Lots of fun characters, very colorful. There's something happening on screen all the time. Jack Black does an amazing performance as Bowser, including a song which I'm sure news broke everywhere. Apparently, it's eligible for the Oscars this year. So here's hoping.
Bitches,
2024.
Bitches.
And did you see he also filmed a music video?
Did he? No, I didn't.
Yeah. He's like in a peach-colored room with like a peach-colored piano.
No, that surprises me about Jack Black.
Yeah, so here's hoping that 2024 at the Oscars, Jack Black, Oscar-nominated, performing Peaches on stage by the President of the United States of America, and then he performs this. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, maybe the film is more interesting, or the discussion around it is more interesting. Like, it's a perfectly fine, unoffensive kids movie, but people are pretty livid about it. Like, I understand like both directions. Like, people on the film side are like super angry about it, and then the people defending it are super angry about it. You know who's in the middle? Bunch of kids just enjoying their film. Yeah, I think this movie is really, it's McDonald's. It's not like a hard cuisine, Like a food critic is not going to give McDonald's a very high rating, I would imagine. You know what I mean? It's perfectly average, but everybody loves McDonald's. That's what it is. It's baseline.
But if a food critic gave, because if you want to use this analogy,
yes,
if a food critic gave McDonald's 9 out of 10 and said, I understand this food's supposed to be shit, so accepting that it's shit 9 out of 10, would that be an acceptable? Like, would you trust that food critic?
if that's what you want from your food critic.
I guess. Like,
You know,
yeah,
it really boils down to numbers not really being important. It's the voices.
Yeah, well, numbers
that are
aren't
actually
really
doing
important. Yeah, but if the food critic wrote tastes
Aggregated.
like ass, but it's targeted at kids, so would recommend. Like, it was.
That's what all baby foods are like, right?
I love
apparently these
apples.
baby foods are meant to be good for the kids. You know, it's like any children's programming. If you look at it, like
Incorrect.
I'm sure
Bluey is a 10 out of 10 show.
Bluey the exception, but something like Teletubbies, it does the job of being good for children. As an adult watching it critically, not very good.
I don't think anyone would. Teletubbies falls into like preschool material that I don't think people review.
Maybe they should. Yeah. I'm sure there's somebody reviewing like You aren't going to review that Jedi show that's going to come out, the little Young Jedi Adventures or whatever it's called?
No, I'm going to watch it though.
Okay. We'll see. But yeah, you know, check out all the content we mentioned. Check out Arcade Couch. But yeah, we'll get back to I'll just cover it here. Super Mario Brothers, reading from Hollywood Reporter. In a major win for the box office as it continues to level out following the pandemic, Super Mario Brothers movies shattered numerous records in its opening across North America and 70 international markets over the long Easter holiday weekend. The movie blasted past even the most bullish expectations, turned $204.6 million in its 5-day domestic debut, including $146.4 million for the 3-day weekend. Overseas, it pulled in $171 million for an astounding worldwide start of $375.6 million, the best showing of the year to date on all fronts. Are those numbers? Well, here's more facts. Super Mario passed up the global debut of Warner Brothers Animation's Frozen 2, which scattered to $358 million in November 2019. It's also the second biggest domestic opening of all time for an animated film. Laughed past Finding Dory's $135.1 million to rank behind only Incredibles 2, which made $183 million on its opening weekend. It's the second biggest international opening of all time for an animated film, behind Frozen 2, which made a foreign launch of $228.2 million. Of course, it's the biggest opening of all time for an animated video game adaptation, taking it from Sonic the Hedgehog 2, which had a 3-day debut of $72.1 million. And then it's the biggest opening of 2023 to date. Top opening film performance by an Illumination film. The 4th biggest global day and date opening in Universal history, behind Fury 7, Jurassic World, and Fast 8, The Fate of Furious. The top 5-day opening for a Wednesday to Sunday launch, behind beating Transformers Revenge of the Fallen, and is the top animated opening of all time for IMAX. The premium large format exhibitor scaled up to $21.6 million globally. So yeah. So, are you surprised by Super Mario the movie making so much money?
No. Who's this surprising? Are you surprised?
Maybe a little, you know? His outperforms like Ant-Man and everything, which is like Marvel properties have been like the big thing to get people to go to the movies. So
5-year-olds getting taken to Ant-Man.
Yeah, but they're getting very cheap seats.
It still counts as a ticket, like bums and seats.
But it's money,
I guess. Still.
Yeah.
And what I was talking about the other night, school holidays.
That's true. The timing is quite perfect, and there's not really many options for children at the cinemas at the moment. But yeah, even then, like, parents wouldn't necessarily go the opening weekend. You know, they wait till the very last minute.
They've only got 2 weeks of school holidays.
Yeah. So yeah, Super Mario Brothers movie. Do you think this has a roll-on effect of like we're going to see a bunch more video game things in the works on the back of these impressive numbers?
I think that was already a thing. That was already a thing. I feel like this just helps people, people writing the checks feel solidified in their choices to greenlight some video game adaptations recently.
Well, be sure to keep listening to hear our opinions of what video game adaptations maybe a certain studio should be doing next. Dylan, you got around to watching the Tetris movie, the latest Apple TV Plus film starring Taron Egerton about getting Tetris on the Game Boy.
Yep. It was. I enjoyed it. It's definitely a fun sort of ride. I think it goes for a bit too long. It just feels like it draws out. So it's like just shy of 2 hours or something like that, and it's yeah. There's just a middle section there where I felt like it was just like I feel like there's 10, 15 minutes there that could have nearly just been cut. I'm like, I don't know if all this was necessary. There's a lot of back and forth, but it's not like as serious, obviously, as Argo, but it has a same sort of weird feeling to the movie where it's about obviously getting into a American basically trying to get to a foreign country and to sneak people out. But in this case, the people are a signed piece of paper that says you can have the rights to Tetris. It's funny to think that all of this is based in. I don't know how much is like amped up the characters and the personalities and stuff, but like the basis of what happens is true. But yeah, it's just a lot of, hey, this person said I've got the rights to this person says I got the rights to publish it in these places. Like it's absolutely wild west of video game days from years ago. And yeah, if Taron Egerton's obviously having a lot of fun with it, and there's some other there's some funny scenes and a good soundtrack and stuff. But yeah, so if you got Apple TV, I'd suggest watching it.
Cool. Very cool. You've also watched the first episode of the upcoming Stan original series, Totally Completely Fine, starring Thomas and Mackenzie.
Yeah, totally. What's it called again? Totally
Completely Fine.
I keep forgetting what it's called.
Just like this podcast.
Yeah. I only watched the trailer for this a couple weeks ago and didn't hear anything about it, and then I was like, this looks like a fun time. So, well, sort of fun, but also serious at the same time. So, the premise for this one, for people who haven't seen it, is that Thomas and Mackenzie plays a woman who her grandfather dies, and then when he dies, he gives her his home, which is sort of on this. I think this is in like New South Wales somewhere. That's where I sort of took it anyway. He's like he used to live on this like sort of cliff face area, and she thinks it's like the best thing ever. And I mean, the first episode starts with her contemplating suicide. Like she's laying in a bath, and she's like looking at a hair dryer that's plugged in next to it, and just like thinking about just tipping that sucker straight in. So the setup is this is already a character who's sort of who needs help herself. So then when she gets into this house and she discovers that people come there like weekly, at least once weekly, it seems to be the spot that people come to commit suicide and jump off the cliff to kill themselves, and that her grandfather would have known about this and he chose to still give it a house, and that sort of pisses her off. But she chooses to, spoilers for, I guess, by the end of the first episode, she chooses to stay there and try and make it work. But she's neither equipped or particularly wanting to help people because she's in need of help, obviously, herself. So it's a dark comedy, I guess. It's got its funny moments. Thomas and Mackenzie is really good in the first episode so far that I've watched, and I'm definitely keen to watch more. I've so far this year's been really, really good for. I've watched a lot of Australian stuff. I feel at least TV and stuff, a few movies and stuff. But I've really been enjoying a lot of the TV shows that have been coming out.
Yeah, they've been pumping out. And then you finished watching Lucky Hank, starring Bob Odenkirk. Is he going to get Emmy nominated for this as well?
I don't know, it's a very different role. So something like Soul, but yeah. I think I would have talked about the first couple episodes of this or something, but yeah. So the finale doesn't air for another couple weeks or something like that, but it's, as a whole, I would suggest watching the whole series. I think it was 8 episodes. It's it goes into some interesting directions with the characters. It starts out very like sort of unserious, and thankfully by the time you get to like sort of the mid-season point, a lot of the jokey stuff that I wasn't sure the show was going to take serious, they begin to have actually be real conversations between characters around like the fact that Hank is a bit of an arsehole and a narcissist at times. And the main crux of the season actually ends up going towards him and how he affects his I don't know what you would actually call them. I can't remember, but like the teachers under him, because he's like in charge of the department, and what his attitude and stuff, how that affects them. Plus him and his choices and how his past with his father is affecting his inability to make choices that would be good for his family, in particular his wife, who is she's coming upon some really good opportunities herself as a teacher at like a high school or whatever. So yeah, it's when it starts getting into those topics, it makes for some really funny scenes, but then the show does a good job at breaking them down and having it be serious when it needs to be, and it delves into some, yeah, I guess really interesting topics around like childhood trauma and all this sort of stuff. So yeah, I would definitely suggest watching it. It was good.
Awesome. Before we get into the mandatory Netflix segment, I just want to talk about episode 3, Succession. I'm sure you've seen it everywhere.
Yeah, don't spoil it.
I'm not going to spoil it, but
I might watch this show yet.
you know,
I mean, I watched the first episode, right?
Yes, you did, like 3 years ago.
And it's been on the list ever since.
It's been on the list ever since. But yeah, fantastic episode of television. Pretty much securing a whole bunch of Emmys, I would imagine, for the cast and the crew of the show. Absolutely, the people I want to thank the most, the people who did the preview edit for the next time,
for the episode prior, like
yeah,
the end of episode 2.
Yeah,
I saw your tweet and I was like, I don't know what that means, but
yeah, because they
didn't spoil anything.
They didn't spoil anything. Yeah. They completely very well misdirected, kind of. But yeah, fantastic episodes. Went an incredibly different direction than most people anticipated going in. Amazing job by the cast, amazingly shot. Even just listening to a bunch of discussions around it afterwards, like they did like a 27-minute like shot, like they did a one shot, like it was as if it was a play, and because they're shooting on film, they had to like hide
very
film
expensive
canisters around because the film only goes for 10 minutes.
Yeah, it's also very expensive to shoot a one take on film.
Yes.
People who fuck up are literally costing money.
But they weren't like using just the one shot. It was like they cut that up.
Yeah.
But for the actors in the scene, they did it as if it was only the one shot, just so they could live through this whole thing in real time and that kind of stuff. Yeah, fantastic performances across the board. If it might be the best episode of Succession. It's hard to say. It'll probably be one of the most memorable. And yeah, everybody should check it out. Also, if you don't want to be spoiled about these things, just stay off social media.
It's crazy. I see everyone talking about it, but I haven't seen nothing that I would at least consider a spoiler. Just people
I
like,
don't
it's
know.
good.
Yeah, I guess it depends on who you're following as well.
Yeah.
But the age-old thing. We're in the age of television. It gets spoiled as soon as it airs, especially a HBO show. Because everybody needs to get in straight away with the memes and the jokes, and American audiences have just been trained to spoil everything as it, to tweet along, So it's been happening for like at least a decade at this point. If you're being upset about people spoiling TV as it is, you need to...
No, it's one of those things, like, even as someone who still wants to watch this show and hopes to catch up on it eventually, and like as someone who's been thinking that for years at this point, I just accept the fact that I don't put this as a number one priority. Yeah. That I just accept if I get spoiled, it's it is what it is.
It is, yes.
Yeah.
Done. All right. Let's move into the mandatory Netflix segment of the show. So I've watched the first episode, and you've watched the first few episodes of the Netflix series.
Yeah, I was binging it this morning.
You were binging it this morning, starring Ali Wong and Stephen Yeun, in which they have a road rage incident and shit spirals from there outside a hardware store. Yeah, I'm very keen to watch more. I've only watched the one episode, but it is like very tense the entire time. Lots of different... Both of these characters are very coming from like very intense situations, but very differing situations. They're both really fantastic. There's also some comedic elements to it all, but it is definitely, at least in the premiere episode, it's like definitely leaning more towards the drama side. But yeah, it looks like this is going to be beef that goes for a while. Dylan, what have you thought of beef so far?
Yeah, I've really been enjoying it. Hence the fuck it. Today's my sad day. I'm just like sitting here watching it. Very bingeable, very engaging television show. Each episode's like 35, 40 minutes. So I think there's 10 episodes. So it's like by the time one finishes, I'm like, fuck, all right, another one. I think I just stopped to get food at some stage. But the setup is, and you watch the trailer, you're like, is this like super serious or is it meant to be a joke? It definitely is, I would say, more of a drama than a comedy, but it is funny at times. Like it leans more towards the drama side than the comedy side. It starts as this most over the top, as in the first episode, just gets straight into it where these characters bump into each other and just like they're both on the edge of exploding, and that's what causes this major sort of altercation between them, road rage incident. But as the show progresses and the episodes go down, the more you learn about these characters' lives. It's not that you feel sorry for them because they consistently continue to make horrible decisions. But I guess like if you were to push all that aside, they do both have like sort of, I guess, they're playing into different, know how you put it. Like he's the fuck, what's his name again? The dude?
Steven Yeun.
Steven Yeun, yeah, like his character is this down on his luck dude who's his cousin sort of fucked over his family by doing something, and then he's really wants to do right by his parents, and they're not they're back I think they're out of the country, or I assume that's what the go is. I can't remember now, but he wants to get him. He like his whole dream is to buy this plot of land and build a house so his mum and dad can come back over and live there and like enjoy the rest of their life. And he's like trying to do all the right things, and he lives with his brother, and he's like investing all his money in crypto, and like just sort of has like a nothing attitude, and he just gets really down, and he's doesn't think anything's going right in his life. And then what's McCall's character? What's her name? Fuck, I'm forgetting everyone's name today. Jesus Christ. The
Ali Wong.
Ali Wong. Ali Wong's character is someone who so she's rich. She's like sort of on the opposite side, but it's not played as she's the bad guy, he's the good guy because of their sort of social economical status. It's she's worked really hard for it and she deserves to have her success, but she's sort of getting roadblocked by a lot of things, and she's unable to, the way they portray her character is this, she's sort of, her built-up rage is caused by her having to have this, I've got to smile at everything, I can't complain about things because people tell me, like her husband in that first episode straight away sort of like when she tries to vent to him, and then straight away he's like, just breathe and smile and like everything will be okay, like just doesn't let her actually emote at all. So they're like, they build upon there, but also the other characters introduced and the stuff you get to see, like how a lot of characters around them are also going through similar sorts of just, you know, having to play face as people do in life. It's definitely a really well written series, and I can see it being one that isn't on, at least I know by the end of the year, because a lot of other things could come out obviously, but yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if this is on a lot of people's favorite shows of the year.
Yeah, I think really really good. Just there's like two really out there reveals in the first episode at least. One revealing why he had all those winners, which I didn't clue into at the start. And then what's in the safe and why she wants to get to it. Also, what a reveal. So, looking forward to continuing watching the beef. Great app. Also, fantastic marketing. Apparently, they've just check out the marketing for the beef.
They've got people going around starting road rage with each other, and then when the people start to fight them, they're like, "Wait, it's just a prank, bro. It's for a Netflix series. It's for beef."
Crazy. So I watched the documentary on the Netflix documentary, of course. Lewis Capaldi, How I'm Feeling Now. So of course, Lewis Capaldi blew up as an artist in like 2019 or whatever when his song, what was the name of that song?
I don't know, because I'll tell you right now, I don't know watch this. I'm not a big fan of his music. It's not my like type of thing, but I like him as a person. I just love that he's just this dude Like he plays these very soulful songs, and his dad's Peter fucking Capaldi. So
Someone You Love. That was his massive hit. That like it was everywhere. Scottish dude, youngest child, wants to trying to be a singer songwriter all through his teens. Eventually gets his big break. But still very down to earth. He's a very charismatic dude. Very very funny. Was on Instagram a lot at the time and like doing crazy stuff like recording while he's on the toilet and shenanigans like that. The documentary kind of follows him during the pandemic as he's in the process of trying to write his second album, but he starts to struggle with mental health issues and kind of the pressure of releasing a second album and that kind of stuff. And I think, it's a very fascinating story. Of course, if you read about him, I'm sure you already hear what kind of struggles he's having to deal with and that kind of stuff. But I think the documentary does a really solid job of like exploring that his issues and kind of signposting different things as they were documenting it that kind of makes sense once his diagnosis is kind of revealed and that kind of stuff. But yeah, he's a really charismatic dude that you kind of hope has every success in the world and that kind of stuff. So I would recommend checking it out. It's a very fun documentary highlighting about like very important issues and that kind of stuff. And also, he isn't a terrible singer. Singing, so there's that.
no, he's a good singer.
It's just not your taste.
It's just not. No. It's just not my like. He's definitely a very very good singer. It's just his music's not my type of thing. I'd be listening to. I've nothing but that most respect for the man. At least as far as I know.
So check out Lewis Capaldi. How Am I Feeling Now on Netflix. All right, that's everything in our watch history. Let's move into some film news. Over on Holocron Entries, we were talking about the big announcements over at Star Wars Celebration on day one, highlighted by the announcement of 3 upcoming films. If you want in-depth thoughts on that, head over to Holocron Entries. But Dylan, of course, we've got 3 new Star Wars films coming. One set at the very dawn of the Jedi, covering the first Jedi ever. We've got a film by Dave Filoni that's going to tie in everything he's been doing on the live action side, from The Mandalorian to Ahsoka to, I don't know, whatever else, probably Boba Fett. I mean, he'll show up. And then we've also got another film starring Daisy Ridley set after The Rise of Skywalker. Dylan, what are your thoughts on the future of Star Wars, at least in cinema?
I'm hopeful, I guess would be would be a good word to go for. I definitely think that. So the one that's most exciting to me, just straight off the pitch, is let's do the first Jedi. I have no idea what or how that looks, or that's
directed by James Mangold.
James Mangold, which
who has like a crazy list of stuff, in the pipeline at the moment.
And hopefully,
I think he's about to shoot a Bob Dylan movie with Timothée Chalamet.
Yeah, but that's not going to take ages because it doesn't have a bunch of
he's
special effects.
He's also apparently working on the Swamp Thing film for DC.
Yeah, but I don't think he's directing it. Is he?
I don't know.
So.
I assumed he was.
Yeah, okay.
Nothing can be confirmed, though. So.
This is the one I'm most. That would be the one I'm most keen for. I'm definitely excited about Daisy Ridley, Rey returning in another movie. I'm more than willing to give that character, because I really like that character, another go. The only reason I was sour on Rise of Skywalker is from a script and story perception, which is nothing to do with her. And I would definitely put the Dave Filoni one last, simply because I enjoy watching the Mandoverse stuff, but I don't think it's super great. It is popcorn Star Wars, very hit and miss in terms of quality and stuff. But yeah, so if I was ranking those films, that would be my ranking of excitement.
I mean, I'll probably have the same rankings, just because the thing that we don't know anything about is kind of more exciting. But yeah, I mean, it's cool that we've got some new announced projects to be excited about and speculate about. it was definitely cool to see Daisy Ridley come out and be excited, and with potential for more of Rey Skywalker stories in the future. So I mean, whether that ties into more characters we know, or it just kind of opens up more of the timeline. It is kind of crazy, the timeline that they've kind of split up now, that there's like 9 eras of Star Wars in which they'll be exploring all of kind of at the same time. This might be the craziest expanded universe out there, really, timeline wise. I can't think of anything that compares.
I don't know. Star Trek's got a pretty, like, if you actually get into that universe, and
I guess
alternate timelines that are all technically canon, and you know what I mean, like all that sort of stuff.
Crazy. Was there any other news from Star Wars Celebration that kind of caught your fancy?
In the realm of movie and TV stuff, obviously the Bad Batch getting one last season is cool. I think that we would agree that's a very good decision for that show.
Yes.
We're going to get another season of Tales of the Jedi, which is exciting. Liked half of that. Didn't like it was very hit and miss, but having more of that I don't think is a particularly bad thing.
By other directors as well, not just Dave Filoni this time.
Yeah, obviously that's cool. The trailer for what the fuck's it
Visions
called? Visions was a very good trailer. So excited for that to come out on May the 4th, obviously. Again, that was another one where the first volume of that, loved some, thought some were okay. So I assume it'll be the same thing. It'll be hit and miss, but that's fine. But yeah, I don't know. A lot of the TV stuff was exciting based on everyone's reactions. As someone who follows a lot of people who were there, like either podcasters, YouTubers, and stuff like that, like Star Wars people. My Twitter has been filled with a lot of Star Wars Celebration tweets from people on the show floor in these panels. The excitement around shows like what was shown and talked about from Andor season 2 through to Skeleton Crew and Acolyte and all this stuff. These all sound very, very exciting. So I'm just. Most of Star Wars seems like it's on the up, and I'm gonna have from what I literally saw someone tweet that I don't know if it was about the Acolyte or I think someone tweeted something like most of these shows seem to lean more towards the direction of Andor than the Mandalorian. If so, take that as you will, and I took that as that sounds
good
amazing.
quality.
Yeah. So yeah,
the best content made. Yeah. I mean, yeah, there's a lot to be excited about. The date confirmation, like we're going to be getting a bunch of Star Wars this year, so make sure you're subscribed to Holocron Entries for all that. Yeah, we need to come up with some more podcast names. Need to figure that out. The other thing they confirmed was Lars Mikkelsen is going to be returning as Thrawn in Ahsoka. So that's cool, I assume, for the Rebels fans. A good fit, good voice. The other thing that caught my eye, apparently, just because they weren't talked about doesn't mean that projects like Lando and Rogue Squadron are not still in the works. So, and of course, they've pretty much said, we're just going to let Taika Waititi do whatever he wants as long as it takes. Scheduling wise, it's not an easy thing to handle. So those things are still in the works. Long development times. I think the only thing they confirmed that was dead is the Kevin Feige project, which apparently there was no idea really.
They were just do you want to do one? He said yes.
Yes, and then that's as far as it got. He's like, oh shit, I've got these Marvel movies.
Yeah. He's like, oh fuck, I forgot that's the thing I have to do. Right. Yeah,
Marvel. I'm contractually obligated to do all this. It's crazy. So yeah. Here's an interesting one. Lionsgate is thinking John Wick is back. John Wick Chapter 4 has been widely expected to be the final installment in the main action franchise, but a fifth film is back on the table after the latest movie's astonishing opening at the global box office, according to Lionsgate Motion Picture Group Chair Joe Drake. Directed by Chad Stahelski and returning Keanu Reeves in the titular role as the iconic assassin, the unstoppable action picture served up a huge $73.8 million domestically after pristine reviews and an A cinema score from audiences. The results were just as impressive overseas, with the movie debut in a resounding $67.6 million from 71 markets for a global start of $141.4 million, a series record on all fronts. Yeah, Dylan, do you think they're going to make a fifth John Wick movie? Or are they just saying this because it's been such a success?
No, I think they're going to make one. I think it's really hard to talk about what that could look like without going into spoilers because
Yes.
unlike other ones, there's actually some significant things that happen in the John Wick lore, I guess, if you want to put that way in this film. But yeah, I definitely feel like they could make a fifth one. I'd be excited about a fifth one if it goes in a certain direction, and if it goes in another, I'd probably still watch it, but I'd be less excited.
Okay.
It'd be silly not to make another one in that universe, with the amount of money it's making. I feel like I can't blame them for that.
Direct, yeah. I don't know if they're guaranteed they're going to make another John Wick. I think maybe they'll wait to see how successful the who was it?
The TV show thing,
Ana de Armas spin-off Ballerina is,
Ballerinas.
and the Continental TV show. If those are huge successes and it's just the world that people are interested in, maybe they won't feel the need to bring Keanu Reeves back in. But if they underperform, maybe they will.
I think the Ballerinas will do very well with Ana de Armas.
I mean, yeah, she's fantastic in Bonds. She's a great lead, as long as there's a solid story, but into a good action choreography and that kind of stuff. So, speaking of fifth entries and things, Shrek is still holding out for another film and, if possible, another franchise. The last time we saw the familiar green ogre was in the forgettable Shrek Forever After, also known as a patently false title, Shrek the Final Chapter. But DreamWorks can't let Shrek live happily ever after, and with the recent success of reviving long-dead franchises, Power Rangers and Ghostbusters, the studio is still in the process of rebooting their reliable franchise. It turns out Shrek 5 will be a reinvention of sorts. An interview with the Hollywood Reporter, Boss Baby screenwriter Michael McMullers revealed the status of the fifth installment of the series. Shrek 5 is being developed. I finished that script, and I really, really love, which I really, really love. It's really personal to me, and it's got a big reinvention behind it that I guess I can't really reveal. But since DreamWorks was sold to Universal in that time for over $3 billion, I imagine they're particularly interested in it and stepping up and actually figuring out the future of the franchise in that way on the corporate level. Reinvention was sort of called for. There have been 4 films and a lot of material, so the characters are pretty beloved and they're great characters, but you also have to think of a pretty new take on at that point. Dylan, are you keen on a 5th Shrek movie?
No, of course I'm not. The thing that I find most interesting about this is that I just often feel like these Hollywood execs and stuff react weirdly to successes they have, and I don't know what it means. So Puss in Boots does really well critically and commercially, and they go, fucking people love Shrek. Let's bring him back. Not that movie was, at least from what as far as I haven't watched it, but from what I've read and people's reactions, it seems to be that everyone loved it for being inventive in its storytelling and having really good animation and just an interesting story and delving into sort of making Puss in Boots have like an actual character, like going through something, like that, just like, a good movie. Fuck me, right? So, but yeah, the reaction is people love Puss in Boots. They must want more Shrek. Right?
I mean, yes and no. Like, the idea of a Puss in Boots movie that turns into The Last Wish is because they want to make another Puss in Boots movie because of the property. You know what I mean?
I don't know. This last Puss in Boots movie...
I don't think the Puss in Boots Last Wish comes out of nothing. Someone comes up with an idea and is like, let's use that property. Or we need to use this. I've got an idea for a great Puss in Boots movie. Let's make that. I think it's developing an idea for a Puss in Boots movie which eventually results in The Last Wish.
Yeah, but they didn't rush it out. It's been 10 years, over 10 years since the last one.
It's also been that long since the last Shrek movie.
Yeah, but the Shrek movie sounds reactionary, whereas the Puss in Boots movie didn't seem reactionary.
It sounds like... I don't think you wrote the script in like the 5 months since the movie came out.
Well,
you know what I mean? I feel like it's been it's been in development for a very long time.
You say that.
I do say that.
Could have wrote it in the fucking toilet for all I know.
Harsh. But also in theme.
Possible.
Thematically correct.
Yeah. There you go.
From what they're definitely actively pursuing the original cast of Cameron Diaz, Mike Myers, and Eddie Murphy. So, and there is a bit of a hint at Trek in The Last Wish. So I wouldn't be surprised.
I saw that
It
3
isn't coming out of
seconds
nowhere.
of him in it or whatever. I saw that
There might
post
be
online.
more of a hint afterwards as well.
Okay.
But yeah, I don't know. Shrek. What does Shrek look like in 2023?
Green dude. Ogre.
True. Maybe there isn't so much ogre shaming in this movie. You know, they just accept him for the way he is. You know, wouldn't that be a crazy concept?
Acceptance.
Yeah.
What a concept.
What a concept. This is an interesting one. Stranger Things set to conclude after 5 seasons on Netflix, but the
That
universe
is a crazy idea.
but the universe is expanding. An untitled animated series is being greenlit by Netflix, with Flying Bark Productions and executive producer Eric Robles developing. It's unknown what the animated series will be, but the Duffer Brothers have said, we've always dreamed of an animated Stranger Things in the vein of the Saturday morning cartoons that we grew up loving, and to see this dream realized has been absolutely thrilling. We couldn't be more blown away by what Eric Robles and his team have come up with. The scripts and artwork are incredible. We can't wait to share more with you. The adventure continues. Dylan, what are your thoughts on them making an animated Stranger Things series? What would you actually want this to be?
I don't know, what something wild and wacky. If you're gonna do the animation, then surely you'd do the stuff that make it a series that delves more into the Upside Down or something. You know, like the more expensive elements of the live action. You know, that'd be a good use. I feel go wild and wacky.
Yeah, potentially. I mean, I feel like maybe this will be something to fill in the gaps. That would like. I assume there's going to be like a significant time jump between seasons 4 and 5. So maybe this animated show could tackle more of that and like deal with a lot of the stuff that you can't really do in live action. Like having a bunch of crazy monsters. Well, I guess you can have a bunch of crazy monsters and that kind of stuff, but maybe jumping around and making the characters look the same age the entire time. And that kind of stuff. You could do flashbacks easier in animation and that kind of stuff. So, yeah, very interesting. Of course, very cool because it's Flying Bark, Australian studio. So, some would say they are from the Upside Down because they're down on the,
Good one.
Good one. All right, last news story for this week. We got the nominations for this year's MTV Movie and TV Awards. So, Dylan, I'm going to go through a bunch of categories for this year, and you tell me, who do you think should win? Yeah?
Sure.
All right. So, best song nominees are Demi Lovato for Still Alive from Scream 5, or Scream 6, Doja Cat Vegas from Elvis, Lady Gaga Hold My Hand from Top Gun Maverick, One Republic I Ain't Worried from Top Gun Maverick, Rihanna Lift Me Up from Black Panther Wakanda Forever, and Taylor Swift's Carolina from Where the Crawdads Sing.
Just reread the movies again. Hold on.
Scream 6, Elvis, Top Gun Maverick, Black Panther Wakanda Forever, and Where the Crawdads Sing.
Top Gun, I guess.
Which one?
Lady Gaga.
Okay. Best Kick-Ass Cast: Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, Black Panther Wakanda Forever, Outer Banks, Stranger Things, Teen Wolf the movie.
What if Stranger Things. It's a pretty shit list. To be honest. Pretty shit list.
Best Duo: Camila Mendes and Maya Hawke in Do Revenge, or Jenna Ortega and Thing in Wednesday, Pedro Pascal and Bella Ramsey in The Last of Us, Simona Tabasco and Beatrice Grano for The White Lotus, or Tom Cruise and Miles Teller in Top Gun Maverick?
This is kind of hard. I will say I'll go White Lotus.
Ooh, interesting choice. Most frightened performance. Jennifer Coolidge in The White Lotus. Jesse Tyler Ferguson in Cocaine Bear. Justin Long in Barbarian. Rachel Sennott in Bodies, Bodies, Bodies. Or Sosie Bacon in Smile.
What was it? Most scared or most scary?
Most frightened.
Right, most frightened. Bodies, Bodies, Bodies.
Okay. Best fight. Brad Pitt versus Bad Bunny in Bullet Train. Courtney Cox versus Ghostface in Scream 6. Jamie Campbell Bower as Vecna versus Millie Bobby Brown as 11 in Stranger Things. John Wick versus everybody in John Wick 4. Or the Escape from Narkina 5 in Andor.
That is a shit list with an easy pick. John Wick.
Best breakthrough performance. Bad Bunny for Bullet Train. Bella Ramsey for The Last of Us. Emma Darcy for The House of the Dragon. Joseph Quinn for Stranger Things. Or Rachel Sennott for Bodies, Bodies, Bodies.
Emma Darcy.
Interesting. I think that's a solid list.
That's a solid list, yeah. I think that was fine.
Best comedic performance. Adam Sandler for Murder Mystery 2. Dylan O'Brien for Not Okay. Jennifer Coolidge for Shotgun Wedding. Keke Palmer for Nope. Quinta Brunson for Abbott Elementary.
Are you for real?
Yes.
Abbott Elementary. There's literally 4 shit ones and 1 decent pick.
Whoa. Keke Palmer and Nope, you're calling shit?
It's not a comedy.
She's
funny in it, but it's not fucking... No, I don't allow that.
Well, this one will make you angry, I think.
Love that.
Best Kiss. Presented by Cheetos. The brand of chips you want to talk about when you're kissing. Anna Torv and Philip Prajo, The Last of Us. Harry Styles and David Dawson, My Policeman. Madison Bailey and Rudy Pankow, Outer Banks. Riley Keough and Sam Claflin, Daisy Jones and the Six. Selena Gomez and Cara Delevingne, Only Murders in the Building.
It's the dead person kiss, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. Sorry, read the other 4 because I was completely distracted.
Harry Styles and David Dawson, My Policeman. Madison Bailey and Rudy Pankow, Outer Banks. Riley Keough and Sam Claflin, Daisy Jones and the Six, and Selena Gomez and Cara Delevingne, Only Murders in the Building.
I don't know. Yeah, Riley Keough.
Okay. Best villain. Elizabeth Banks. No, Elizabeth Olsen.
You're like full stop. Elizabeth Banks.
Elizabeth Olsen. Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. Harry Styles, Don't Worry, Darling. Jamie Campbell Bower's Stranger Things. Megan in Megan. And The Bear in Cocaine Bear. 2 of those I think have been put in the wrong category.
I would say, yeah, Elizabeth Olsen.
Okay. Best Hero. Diego Luna, Andor. Jenna Ortega, Wednesday. Paul Rudd, Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania. Pedro Pascal, The Last of Us. Tom Cruise, Top Gun Maverick. Again, I feel like one of those is in the wrong category. But
Tom Cruise.
Ooh. Best performance in a show. Aubrey Plaza, The White Lotus. Christina Ricci, Yellow Jackets. Jenna Ortega, Wednesday. Riley Keough, Daisy Jones and the Six. Sadie Sink, Stranger Things. Selena Gomez, Only Murders in the Building.
Audrey Plaza.
Best performance in a movie. Austin Butler, Elvis. Florence Pugh, Don't Worry, Darling. Keke Palmer, Nope. Michael B. Jordan, Creed 3. And Tom Cruise, Top Gun Maverick.
Michael B. Jordan.
Okay. Best show. Stranger Things, The Last of Us, White Lotus, Wednesday, Wolfpack, Yellowstone, and Yellow Jackets.
White Lotus.
And best movie. Avatar: The Way of Water, Black Panther: Wakanda Forever, Elvis, Nope, Scream 6, Smile, Top Gun Maverick.
Top Gun Maverick.
All right, well, tune in May 7th and see how many Dylan got correct.
I will not tune in, but look forward to you telling me how many I got correct.
Okay, I'll let you know. I think there's a few other categories they haven't announced, or they'll give stuff as well. So look forward to that. All right, let's give some thumbs to trailers. Of course, you can find all the trailers we're about to discuss in the show notes below, or by checking out the episode page at explosionnetwork.com. First trailer for this week, big one, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, directed by Joaquin Dos Santos, Ken Powers, and Justin K. Thompson, starring Shamik Moore, Haley Steinfeld, Jake Johnson, Issa Rae, Daniel Kaluuya, Karen Sony, Jason Schwartzman, Brian Tyree Henry, Luna Lauren Velez, Greta Lee, Rachel Dratch, Jorma Taccone, Shea Wiggum, and Oscar Isaac. After reuniting with Gwen Stacy, Brooklyn's full-time friendly neighborhood Spider-Man is catapulted across the multiverse, where he encounters a team of spider people charged with protecting its very existence. However, when the heroes clash on how to handle a new threat, Miles finds himself pitted against the other spiders. He must soon redefine what it means to be a hero so he can save the people he loves most. Dylan, what did you think of the trailer for Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse?
Yeah, double thumbs up. Looks great. Obviously, this is sort of one of the most anticipated movies I feel for the upcoming 12 months. It looks to have an even wilder, I guess, animation style than the first one once they go into the multiverse. An insane amount of characters. If you thought like 6 spider people in the first one was a lot, it's like hold on to your horses, everyone. Here's about 100 million. And yeah, I mean, the trailer having the spider people pointing at each other meme turned into a bit in the movie. Very funny. So yeah, double thumbs up.
Yeah, 2 thumbs up for me. Even if it was terrible, I'd probably still give it 2 thumbs up. But
I think that's correct. Yeah.
It's just fantastic. Beautifully cut together trailer. Again, using the What's Up Danger song that was like a massive thing and is indelibly tied to these movies. I'm sure whoever the artist is behind it is like making a lot of money off this, hopefully. I think it's also an interesting contrast to the first film that was so heavily the relationship between Miles and his father. This one seems to be about the relationship between Miles and his mother to a degree, where she's kind of upset that he's talking back to her a bit and he's not doing well in Spanish. I think it's interesting also this coming after the Miles Morales focused video game, where we also got another take on Miles, and that was also so heavily mother-son focused. And then obviously to see all these different Spider-Man, seeing Peter B. Parker with little Mayday, the baby, that made me very happy. And then to see Oscar Isaac be crazed, like super scary Spider-Man 2099, who are very against Miles for some reason.
Very against Spider-Man and Doctor Strange and what they did.
Yeah, apparently. Yeah, very upset with the MCU just in general. Also, the Dot seems like he's going to be a very fun villain to watch. Like him stealing from that convenience store and like just a bunch of stuff coming out of his chest for some reason. Just stop doing that. So that's great. Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse will finally be in cinemas 1st of June. So not long to wait. Next trailer, still a Michael J. Fox movie. Directed by Davis Guggenheim, starring Michael J. Fox and Tracy Pollan. A short kid from a Canadian army base becomes an international pop culture darling of the 1980s, only to find the course of his life is altered by a stunning diagnosis. The actor, who is an incurable optimist, is forced to confront an incurable disease. Dylan, what do you think of this documentary about Michael J. Fox?
Double thumbs up. Really great trailer. Love the way that was put together. It sort of gives you an idea of the vibe of the movie, which is, about someone like the part of them where they say something about, imagine if it was all like you got this disease and then, change their life. And then Michael J. Fox just being like, that's so boring though. Like whatever. So yeah, just, I don't feel like anyone has, I've never seen anyone say anything bad about Michael J. Fox. So very keen to watch this. And yeah, double thumbs up. Very well put together trailer.
Yeah, I think this looks fantastic. I've been very excited to see this since it debuted at Sundance. I think apparently it's got a 98 on Rotten Tomatoes at the moment, so it's going to be very good. Just really well cut together. obviously highlighting all the performances of Michael J. Fox. I guess it's kind of hard to realize how much stuff he was in, and he's kind of like a darling of the era, and like I can't really think of a contemporary to him in modern day. At least not one who was been turned on by the audience. You know what I mean? But yeah, this looks really fantastic, beautifully use of More Than a Feeling in the trailer as well. I think just a fantastically cut trailer, and very keen to check this out when it releases 15th of May on Apple TV Plus. Speaking of Apple TV Plus, our next trailer is also an Apple TV Plus show.
Shills. Bunch of iPhone users here.
I have an Android. Next trailer is Silo, created by Graham Yost, starring Rebecca Ferguson, Common, David Oyelowo, Ian Glenn, Rashida Jones, and Tim Robbins. In a ruined and toxic future, a community exists in a giant underground silo that plunges hundreds of stories deep. There, people live in a society full of regulations they believe are meant to protect them. Dylan, what did you think of this trailer for Silo?
It looks really good. I love it looks like Fallout, right? It looks like
yes.
So they're in a vault. They've been lied to, or they don't know what's going on in the outside world. But I mean, I guess Fallout, like something did actually happen, so that there's truth there. But yeah, this has a whole very mystery box JJ Abrams style about it, where it's you're going to be spending the whole season wondering like what's going to be the big reveal. And my only hope with a show like this is I'll easily get invested, I feel. But then my problem is, are we just going to drag it out forever? And then by the time they like break out, I've stopped caring. That's my only problem with any of these sort of mystery ones. But yeah, really good cast. Love the trailer. I'll go double thumbs up and keen to check this one out.
Yeah, I'll go double thumbs up as well. I think it looks really fantastic. Great cast. Great world, production design. Just the scale of the silo, it's massive. Based on a series of books. So there's content there. From what I can understand, it was it was done self-published. The guy wrote it in short story chunks, I guess, and collated them kind of into 2 novels so far. So yeah, I'm pretty excited for this one. I think Rebecca Ferguson, she's fantastic in pretty much everything I've seen in her recently. So her leading a show, that's pretty cool. So yeah, this comes to Apple TV Plus May 5th. Next trailer is for Clone High, created by Phil Lord, Christopher Miller, Bill Lawrence, starring Will Forte, Nicole Sullivan, Donald Faison, Judah Miller, Krista Miller, Mitra Johari, Sam Richardson, Vicky Martinez, Kelvin Yu, Neil Casey, and Ayo Edebiri. Dubbed a modern refresh of the 2002 animated series, the follow-up is set at a high school for clones of historical figures. After a high school that was secretly being run as an elaborate military experiment to clone the greatest minds in history was put on ice, the clones are thawed out 20 years later to resume the experiment with new clone classmates, all while navigating a new set of cultural norms and overly dramatic teen relationships. Dylan, are you familiar with Clone High, and what do you think of this trailer?
I have no idea about this property at all, and I'm going double thumbs down. It looks not like something I'd want to watch. And maybe that's a bit of a shock because I'm usually into the weirder and wackier sort of adult based animation stuff. But this reminded me of something I would have loved when I was in high school. And the trailer did nothing for me. I didn't really care for this at all.
Wow. This is one up, one down for me. I think it looks interesting. I'd always heard about Clone High. It's like one of those shows that kind of you hear occasionally about, I got cancelled too soon and wasn't given a proper chance, and that kind of stuff. And obviously with the 3 names attached creative wise, they hold some kind of comedic esteem, I guess. It looks interesting enough. Apparently a bunch of the characters have been recast because you can't have white people playing all the roles anymore, especially of colored people and that kind of stuff. So yeah, I mean, it looks interesting enough. The concept is interesting. I like the idea of who was it? Christopher Columbus pretending to be somebody else because Christopher Columbus is not a popular person anymore. That's amusing. Yeah, I'd be willing to give it a chance, but we'll see. So currently, no release date is set to release on HBO Max in America. So maybe it'll be coming to binge here, potentially. Last trailer for this week: Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. Directed by James Mangold, starring Harrison Ford, Phoebe Waller-Bridge, Antonio Banderas, John Rhys Davies, Toby Jones, Boyd Holbrook, Ethan Isidore, and Mads Mikkelsen. In 1969, American archaeologist and adventurer Indiana Jones lives against the backdrop of the space race. Jones is uneasy over the fact the US government has recruited former Nazis to help beat the Soviet Union in the competition and make it to space. His goddaughter, Helena Shaw, accompanies him on his journey. Meanwhile, Jürgen Voller, a NASA member and ex-Nazi involved with the moon landing program, wishes to make the world into a better place as he sees fit. Dylan, what did you think of the trailer for Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny?
I'm going double thumbs up. I really, really like the trailer. My only thing I didn't love is there is that short section around the subway through to the horse where the CGI just looks weirdly, that CGI there, which looks to either be green screen or more likely the volume, I guess. But all of that is worse looking than the de-aging stuff, which is sort of weird because you'd feel like the de-aging stuff is usually the thing that stands out the most. But yeah, I mean, I really like the cast. I think it has that fun Indiana Jones vibe. It has I like the director. I feel like most things are ticking boxes. Obviously, there's still time for the special effects to be cleaned up a little bit before the release date. So that I'm not going to hold that too much against it. So yeah, I'm going double thumbs up.
Yeah, I'm going double thumbs up as well. It looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. Phoebe Waller-Bridge looks like she's going to be a fun take on the femme fatale, I guess, kind of. Which is, she is double crossing Indy in this trailer. Yeah, and Mads Mikkelsen playing Nazi. Who would have ever guessed that he would he'd play that sort of a villainous character? Am I right? What was the line that you quoted back to me that he said? I'm gonna finish what Hitler started.
Yeah, I'm gonna he's the most like atypical Indiana Jones villain where he's
if only some character. That's the most original line I've heard ever. No one recently has ever said I'm gonna finish what Hitler started or wanted to finish what Hitler started in the real world. Crazy. So yeah, this looks good. Obviously, they put a lot of money behind it. Being debuted at Star Wars Celebration, so that's a bold choice.
No, they showed a teaser trailer, I think, the other year as well and stuff. They always have it at the Lucasfilm panel. They've always talked Indiana Jones at the Lucasfilm panel. That's where they even showed the first trailer for Warwick Davis. Fucking what's-my-call?
The Willow.
The Willow, yeah.
Okay, interesting. All right, so this is releasing in Australian cinemas on the 29th of June. So look forward to that. All right, let's jump into this week's top 3.
Definitely in the top 3.
And with Nintendo's massive success with the Super Mario Brothers movie, the easy top 3 this week is top 3 movies Nintendo should make next. I'm going to help them out. Dylan, what's your number 3?
Number 3 is, this may be a shocking revelation. Should be maybe higher on most people's list, but I'll go number 3. I'm going Legend of Zelda at number 3. So obviously Zelda, I feel like more so than Mario has been the Nintendo franchise that people want turned into a movie or TV series more than anything else. I'm putting it lower because if I could only get one made and my top 3, it's probably I'll make it my number 1. And if they tried to turn this into a movie, I just feel like they have to treat it a little bit more serious, or else it would just fuck it all up. So yeah, I'll go number 3.
All right. My number 3, Star Fox. Everybody loves space stuff, and you've got a massive property that you can't figure out how to make good games for anymore. So why not just do that? Make it Top Gun, but Star Fox. Top Gun Maverick, but with Star Fox. Going on some crazy space mission trying to take out whatever the big-headed dude is called.
Do a barrel roll.
And they do a bunch of barrel rolls. Barrel rolls are key to the fulfillment of the mission. Yeah, I mean, Star Fox seems like a no-brainer for an animated movie at the very least. And yeah, like it's a property that they have not been handling very well. So maybe in another format, they'll be more successful. Dylan, what's your number 2?
My number 2 is Kirby. So my pitch for Kirby is I don't want Kirby speaking. So I need a new character introduced as a sidekick that does the talking, but Kirby's still the star, and the new character that's introduced for the film is sort of an audience conduit, if that makes sense, to be along for the journey with Kirby. And it's going to be about Kirby trying to stop, I don't know, you just go something like King Dedede's like kidnapped a bunch of, like the most atypical sort of Kirby plot for something, but goes on an adventure, has to suck a bunch of things up, turn into cars, wild time. Movie, 10 out of 10.
Wild time. That's what we're here. My number 2, Luigi's Mansion. I mean, the obvious one is Super Mario Brothers, the movie 2. But let's just give Luigi his own movie, He'll set to the side this entire movie. But the best parts of Luigi's part is all the scary stuff. So just lean into that. Make a kid's horror movie with Luigi at the center about him vacuum up ghosts. That makes sense.
The problem with that is if I took Luigi from the Mario Brothers movie, I cannot picture that character willingly going into a building.
Yeah, that is a bit of a struggle, but I'm sure they'll find a way.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, but he got brave at the end of the movie, so maybe he's he'd be willing to at the moment. Yeah. So yeah, that's my number 2. Dylan, what's your number 1?
My number 1 is Metroid. So I guess similar to what you said, space, everyone loves that. Hey, so Metroid is kids alien. It's a family friendly alien is what it is. It's like it's PG. You've got this fantastic character in Samus that could be a star, like sort of well beloved heroine that you could build a bigger like. I would still, you could do it animated, you could do it live action. I don't really care, to be honest, but you could just build someone around that and like sort of mold Samus a little bit, because although there's lore for the character, it's not like someone who's like a bunch of voice roles and stuff. Like you could create a voice a bit more for that character, like they've done for Mario and Luigi and stuff like that, like most Nintendo properties. But I definitely feel like the lore within the Metroid universe and the amount of planets and weapons and like the cool variety of enemy designs and the design of Samus herself and all that stuff definitely makes for the best next thing for them to adapt, in my mind.
All right, my number 1, Donkey Kong. Give him the movie. Give it to Seth Rogen. Let him do whatever he wants. Let him peck dance all over the place. You've got all the supporting characters already designed and ready there. You've already got like the Kong world kind of built up. Surely, based on this movie, they've got to have some crazy, wild, wacky Minecraft scene or minecart scene. You know what I mean? They've got to have some sort of crazy underground minecart system that they've got to go through, all that kind of stuff. Have to stop King K. Rool from doing something. Yeah. I think, give me Donkey Kong. Give us more Seth Rogen. Donkey Kong. Doing the Donkey Kong rap. Just dancing in pecs. It's going to be great. It's what the kids want.
Kids want lots. And as adults, we're supposed to say, you don't always get what you want. Or what you want is not correct.
In this case, they will, because money. All right, Dylan, this week, what do you want to watch?
Oh, no. Fuck. Yeah, hold on. This week, I want to watch... I guess... I want to watch Suzumi.
Do you reckon is it Suzumi or Suzumi?
Let's find out together. Let's find out next week when we've watched the film and know how to pronounce it. But
I don't know if they'll pronounce it like English-wise.
Yeah, but I'd say it in Japanese, and
I guess
it'll probably, I don't know, might help. Yeah. So you're watching that when? Today? Tomorrow?
Tonight, out of day of recording.
Yeah, and then I'm watching it Friday. So obviously we both came for that. That's the new movie from the person who done Your Name and Weathering of You.
Yes.
So that's exciting. It's about a girl who falls in love with a chair. Exciting. Other than that, my TV pick for the week would be nothing.
Really?
I don't think I have one this week.
All right. Well, yeah, I'm excited for Suzume. I'm very keen to check it out. My TV pick coming to the good old ABC.
Oh, Auntie Donna?
Donna's Coffee Cafe.
I forgot. That's my pick too. That's out tomorrow, I think, right? As a recording?
It's out tomorrow.
Yeah.
Or day of release.
Yeah.
Recording. So, in which the description, Auntie Donna's Marks, Broden and Zachary, the high-octane and unpredictable series follows the story of three best mates running a trendy cafe down one of Melbourne's less than iconic laneways. So yeah, definitely looking forward to that. Let us know what you want to watch this week by going to explosion.com/Twitter or jump to Discord at explosion.com/Discord. If you want to help us out here at What Do You Want to Watch, leave us a review, Apple Podcasts, Podchaser, leave us 5 stars, then we can leave 5 stars or just tell people about the show. And if you've enjoyed this episode or the podcast in general and thought it's at least worth $1, head on over to our Ko page at explosion.com/supports. Thank you very much for listening. Until next time, keep watching stuff, I guess.